non-ergonomic office chair, that is a regular office chair, more comfortable. Now, if you are one of those who've been sitting at a desk for long hours, especially if you're a mom with a busy lifestyle, you've been sitting at office for long hours and you've heard of ergonomic chairs or you're considering getting one. However, you have not gone in that direction because let's be honest, ergonomic chairs are quite expensive and ergonomic chairs, it can be quite confusing when you go out there to buy one. So how, while you're considering getting one, or even if you're not getting one, how do you make your regular office chair more ergonomic or more comfortable? So before we get into this topic, let me introduce myself for those of you who don't know me. My name is Swati. I'm an executive mom power coach. I help moms of younger kids who work in high stress executive jobs to manage their spinal, that is back and neck, and joint pains. Now, I do this by giving you simple exercises, easy lifestyle changes, tips, tricks, hacks. And I do all this without taking away a big chunk of your time because, hey, we are moms, we're busy people, right? I also talk about some non toxic natural solutions that have worked for me in my own spinal and joint pain journey. All right, so what exactly does an ergonomic chair do? Now, ergonomic chairs are quite comfortable and they put your body in a good posture. You can do a lot of adjustments on these. I have done another video on the benefits of an ergonomic chair, and I intend to do one more on the features to look out for if you're going to buy an ergonomic chair. If you want to see these videos, you can go to my YouTube channel and have a look there. But basically, ergonomic chairs are quite beneficial for a good posture, which will prevent aches and pains later on, that is maybe today or maybe weeks or months down the line. All right, so how can you make your regular office chair more ergonomic chair like? Let's start at the very bottom. So when you're sitting on your office chair, your feet should be touching the floor. If your feet are not planted on the floor, that is, the whole sole of the foot is not touching the floor, you can have some stresses that build up. Suppose you're one of those who cross the legs and you're on your tippy toes. So it can be quite stressful when you're talking about hours of sitting, right? Even if you take breaks in between and you come back into the same position, it can be quite stressful, and these stresses can build up your ankles, knees, and or going all the way into your hip and spine and pelvis area, and of course give you aches and pains around them, these areas. So, in order to avoid that, you want to have your feet firmly planted on the floor when you're sitting. So, a footstool is a good idea if your feet are dangling off. Usually, ergonomic chairs have a built in footrest where you can place your feet on the chair itself. However, you can easily use the hack of using a footstool for this. So, another thing is basically it's like if you are considering your body like a building, your base is on your feet, so you want those stable, right? All right, moving up, the angle at which your pelvis is tilted makes a big difference as to how your lumbar spine is sitting. All right, if that was all jargon, let me explain that. So when you look at your lumbar spine, you've got a natural curve there, and in order to maintain that curve, you have to position your pelvis, that is the round bone, the bone that goes around, that is the joining part, that is the bone, that piece of bone that joins your lumbar spine to your legs, that is your pelvis area. So that ring of bone there, that has to be tilted slightly forwards. Now, how do you do that? When you're sitting down, have a look at where your hip and your knees are placed. Your hip joint should always be slightly, we are talking just 2, 5, or probably 7 degrees higher than your knee joint. And how do you manage this? In an ergonomic chair, you will have a cushion that can be tilted. The seat cushion can be actually tilted forwards. Now, if you want to do this on your regular chair, you need to have one of those wedge cushions that you can place on your chair. It can be used in your car as well to get the same alignment. You can use one that I have one that has got a handle and I can carry it around with me. I will do one thing. I'm going to write a blog on the same topic, and I will leave a link to the one that I use if you want to have a look. The one that I use in that blog itself. All right. So if you're sitting on a bench cushion, you are tilted forwards like this. When your pelvis is tilted slightly forwards, this is a good position for your lumbar spine because your lumbar spine is then not rounded and slouched like this. There is absolutely no way you can actually slump in your chair if your pelvis is tilted forwards. All right. So the third thing, just looking at my notes here, yeah, the lumbar spine itself. Now, as I said, our lumbar spine has got a curve. So if this was your lumbar spine, say this is your back and this is the front of your body, looking at somebody sideways, this is the curve. Now, when you're sitting in a regular chair, what happens is if this is the chair and you're sitting on it, do you see how the top and the bottom part of my lumbar curve is actually supported by the chair? However, these muscles, especially in the deepest part of the curve, are not supported. Then, after a period of sitting, what happens is these muscles tend to get tired and you will lean back in order for these muscles to get a support. However, because this is a curve, you have to actually slouch back or have a rounded back in order to get support for those muscles. So instead of you rounding your back and getting into the chair, how about we put a lumbar support here? So these lumbar supports come in a form of a roll, or they can be a full back support as well, depending on what works for you. Or what you can do is you can take a towel roll it up, and then put it into your back. Of course, that's more cumbersome, but that's a stopgap arrangement you can make. Again, I will leave a link in the blog to the lumbar supports that I use. I use one with a roll and one that is a full seat. So I have an ergonomic chair, so I use that in my car. All right. So the next is yeah, sorry, forgot to mention in the ergonomic chairs, these are usually inbuilt, the lumbar supports, where you can adjust the depth to which, I mean, the thickness of the lumbar support or the level as well. Because if, say, I am shorter than my husband who uses the chair, so he will use a lumbar support which will be at a different height in the chair than me. So we can both adjust it if we're using the same chair. All right, so moving on, where should the because ergonomic chairs tend to be adjustable in their height, so what should be the height of your office chair? Most of the office chairs do come with an adjustable height, but if you're using, say, a dining chair or one of those older model chairs that don't go up and down in terms of you cannot adjust their height, you can either lower your desk, or you can put a cushion under. Apart from that wedge cushion, you can put a cushion under your seat, under your wedge cushion, in order to raise yourself up. So your forearms should be placed on the table in such a way that the angle between your arm and forearm here should be at about 90 degrees when your forearms are placed at the table. So this may take a bit of adjusting for you, but this is a good way of knowing if your desk height or your chair height is proper. One last thing that I want to mention is whenever you're sitting down, now this has got nothing to do with the chair, but I just thought I'll add it here. If you're going to make your workstation more ergonomic or posture friendly, is try and keep the top of the screen. If this is the, hang on, if this is the horizontal gaze from my eye, try and keep the top of the monitor about 5 to 10 degrees below your horizontal gaze. This does take a lot of adjustment, especially if you're using a laptop where you will need to have a separate screen or a separate keyboard in order to make it at this angle. So the top of your laptop screen should be about 5 to 10 degrees below your horizontal gaze here. All right, so these are some of the points. Of course, the eye level thing that I spoke about has got nothing to do with the chair, but you can adjust your chair to a height where you can manage that. However, the other tips that I've shared with you about making adjustments so that you can actually make your office chair more comfortable, you could try this out. And if you have any questions, feel free to drop the question into the comments below and I will address them for you. If you're looking for some more tips on ergonomic chairs or about your proper sitting posture, about back pain, etc., I have written a blog on the same topic. I will leave a link in the description. This is the blog that also has the links to the products that I use to make my chair more comfortable. To be honest, I use it more in my car to make the seat more comfortable. All right. If you are watching me on Instagram, the link to the blog will be in my bio. And I'll see you guys next time. If you have any questions, do drop them below and I'll address them for you. All right. Bye.